run this like our ordinary podcast. It's going to be live. So it's going to be like old-time radio, which, you know, if you're a Bernie Sanders voter, you probably understand old-time radio very well. So we'll break in it every now and then we have sponsors, we have advertisers. These are fine products that you should support with your dollars because they are supporting us. And we have had in the past trouble with one or two sponsors who didn't like the cut of our political jib.
I think we also want to say hello to everybody who is in the Ricochet chat room right now.
That's right. That's right.
Listening online, live, to this podcast that is live, which is kind of a contradiction in terms, or kind of a violation of the laws of the physical universe.
Well, we do it every 4 years. I mean, we do the podcast more often than that. We do this part every 4 years, and the first year we did it, 2008, we were in this same space, but just a little trivia. We see where the divider is right there in the room. We were only on that side, and on this side was a Hillary Clinton union rally. And we I think laughed and shouted them down.
It was awesome. The Clinton people came and complained, asking us if we could keep it down.
That's right. Such a great Hillary. Could you keep it down back there?
Well,
I think Jack said no.
It was past their bedtime, Rob. Hillary right now, I hope you all know that Hillary right now is really doing fantastically well with the over 80 demographic.
It's actually true.
And that's about it, by the way. That's really about it.
So the schedule tonight is we're going to talk, and then we're going to watch the debate together, and then we're going to, we hope, wrap up some of the debate stuff humoristically, as they say in the military. After that, so stick around. The bar, there's no food, but the bar is still open. And if you're really good conservatives, you'll take advantage of that. Because we're going to, we should probably, if we're all going to sit here and watch the debate and drink, shouldn't we have a...
Drinking game.
Yeah.
Drinking game, drinking game.
So we were talking about this a little bit earlier about what would be on like your debate watching bingo card, right? And I think it was John's point that you can't, what was it, Marco Rubio?
Yeah, the problem is you can't have the phrase "when I am president" on the drinking card, on the bingo board, because he will say it at least 7 times to begin with. So you have to
pick the number.
Would win.
It's like Powerball, right? If you get 4 numbers, you don't get anything.
Right.
But if you get 6, you win it all. So you have to guess the number above 7.
How many times Marco Rubio will say if I am president. Now, I do think that one interesting square on the board would be Jeb Bush saying "when I am not president," but that's just me.
Let's bring the bottle. I want to hear. I think that we should all drink if we hear New York values, because that worked apparently. And I think we should at least toast that, right? How many people here from New York? You
I'm sorry.
New York values here. And then maybe afterwards we should. I don't know. We probably won't be watching it, but we should just bear in mind. I think we should do some pundit bingo. Anyone who says any candidate, he did what he had to do, we get to drink.
Also, best special bonus prize if anyone says the winner of tonight was Jim Gilmore.
I will kill you.
But speaking of pundit bingo, though she's not really a pundit.
Wait, who's Jim Gilmore?
Dude, I don't want to have anyone denigrating Jim Gilmore, right? His tortoise strategy is paying off. He spent almost no money, and he's now in the top 8.
By the way,
At this rate, he'll be president in 21-23.
Listen, Jim Gilmore is a very fine. He has a daughter, Lorelai, and a granddaughter named Rory, and they all lived in Stars Hollow together.
Does he have a dad that's a man?
He is married to a mean woman who wasn't nice to Lauren Graham, and so I just think the Gilmore Girls is a really fine show.
So
fine show.
Here's I do not claim to be a journalist.
You don't?
No, ever. Because that will require facts and knowledge.
Yeah, he's only written a column for, what, 20 years?
Or make it up. Make it up. But there is
like
somebody...
Brian Williams.
Just like Brian Williams, right. He's also not a journalist. But I was astonished, and this is not a knock.
It's not?
No, this is said with
Whenever
love.
anyone says this is not a knock, it's a knock.
Yeah. I was
It's like when
astonished.
people say with all due respect, that's
Yeah.
like saying go
Or no
yourself.
offense. No offense.
Yeah.
But I was astonished today to discover, Jonah, that you literally did some reporting.
That's right. It's not quite what they call shoe leather reporting. I like to do what they call ass leather reporting. I was sitting in the back seat of a car.
Ass velour report.
Ass velour. Rich Corinthian leather posterior reporting. No, I had this great.
You know, they have lotion for that. I don't know.
Tell me about it. So I show up at the airport yesterday, and I gotta get a cab. And I go down to the cab stand, and I ask, how much does it cost to get downtown, or get to my hotel in Nashua? And he says, it's $43. But this man was here first, and there's this other guy, he's kind of frantic, and he's running around. And he says, how much is the cab? And the guy says, it's $43. And he turns to me, and I'm like, I panic, and says, can we split it? Can we split it? And it turns out you can't split it, because the cab driver at 2 different destinations would charge us both $43. And he's like, I can't take a cab ride that costs as much as my hotel room. Which sounded pretty sketchy, right? And then
Jack Fowler's thinking, what hotel is that?
yeah, no, exactly. And then, so anyway, I come on the cab. He's like, can I just ride to where you're going, then I'll go where I'm going, and we'll split it. And I said, don't worry about it, I'll cover it, don't worry about it. What are you doing here? And he says, well, I'm not, I swear, I'm not making this up. He says, I'm from Sweden, and I'm here to work on the Bernie Sanders campaign. And I swear, this is not a setup. It's one of these things. Not since in 2000, I got an angry phone call from it said on the caller ID CNN. I was calling from CNN, and this guy just ripped into me about a column I had written about how my grade school, Rhoda Sholem, had gotten rid of Mother's Day because it was offensive to kids with 2 fathers. And I just sort of ripped into it and all this. And this guy took offense, and he called me and just tore into me. You're an idiot, you're a moron, you think that was clever, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, who are you? And then he says, I don't have to tell you who I am. And I said, oh, really? Is that the policy at CNN? Because I can tell that's where you're calling from. And he went dead quiet. And so I wrote a column called This is CNN about this call. And it's why I got a contract at CNN in 2000. Anyway, Rich Lowry, told me, Jonah, this is not the way it's normally done. You can't just sit at home and wait for the stories to call you on the phone. But, so anyway, this guy from Sweden was fantastic. He was not from Sweden, he was born in Southern California. He's lived in Sweden for 10 years. And he says, this is my last shot at electoral politics. I lost faith in America, which I thought was kind of evidenced by the fact he moved to Stockholm. And he just got out of, he was in Iowa for 10 days, and he's here to bum around. He just shows up to do what they want. And he's like, so what do you do? And I am like freaking out. I'm like, I don't want to, I know it's another 20 minutes in this cab. If I tell him about my wonderful book, Liberal Fascism, this is going to get really awkward. So I don't tell him anything. At first,
I'm a urologist.
He keeps turning it back to me, and I keep asking him these questions. It's really interesting listening to him talk, and the only football team he likes is the Green Bay Packers because it's a socialist team. And so, but anyway, he asks me, so what's your name? And I said, well, my name's Jonah. And I tell him where I work, and I said, well, I write for the LA Times and USA Today. And okay.
Howard.
Yeah, well, no, I wanted to keep asking him questions without him getting hostile, right? And so anyway, we get to the hotel, and he's like, oh, let me give you my email. You should get in touch. We'll, you come to Stockholm, I'll take you out. We'll have granola and so anyway, I gave him my full name, and I know he went home to Google me, and he's gonna and he's gonna be like, I had my chance to kill him. And he got away. It was fascinating.
Although a Sanders supporter probably only has dial-up. He's probably just getting it now.
Didn't you hear Bernie say in the debate the other night that he just didn't believe in killing? Unlike we all believe in killing, but he doesn't believe in killing. In case you were wondering, there should be no killing. That's his policy, and he's sticking to it. And he's going to go into your wallet and take every last dollar from you and give it to somebody else, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so speaking of elaborate wealth transfers, we're here in New Hampshire, right? TV market, Boston TV market is expensive. Die-hard movement conservative Republicans contribute to the campaign of their choice, whatever it is, right? The PAC, right? Those people then take all of that money, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they give it to liberal newspapers and TV stations to run ads. This is the largest transfer of wealth from conservatives to liberals in history, and yet it's still kind of fun.
Outside of it's the largest voluntary one.
Yeah, true.
The tax code.
That's true. Yeah. That's what I meant. I forgot to say voluntary. But that's what I kind of love about it. I mean, I kind of love, like, that's why I'll come here every 4 years, because you really see this great, like there are people out there right now, no one here, for whom this is just an elaborate kind of cosplay. This is like Politicon, where they kind of come and they have a hat on, and then, you know, there's like, there has a hat on, saying, with a thing like, legalize drugs right now, ask me why. Like, I don't think I need to ask you why you want to legalize drugs. I think it's pretty apparent, just by looking at you and how you're dressed today, that this would be an important topic in your life. But I do love it here. I also think it's amazing, a young writer friend who pointed out this is the first cycle ever that Airbnb was around. And so, you know, people come here, they got to find a hotel room. And I bet you somewhere there's like, you know, the PBS crowd from, you know, from the NewsHour or something are in someone's Airbnb right now, like kind of snooping around, and they'll probably use that as their cab drive.
Yeah, well, as part of my ass leather reporting today, I was talking to one of my many Uber drivers, and I figured if Tom Friedman can do it, I can do it. And she said that she also runs an Airbnb thing out of her house, and it's got a Polish and a Swedish television crew in it. And I was like, I know a guy from Sweden, you should put them in. But the thing, what I'm really, not to change topics too radically, but what I'm hoping for is once this cycle is over, Fox News, I spend a lot of time in the Fox News green room, watch a lot of Fox News, not as much as my mom. I mean, I think the Fox News bug is permanently seared into the cathode ray tube of the screen.
Well, I should also point out that if I call my parents on the phone, and the phone is answering, it's like, hello, in the back it's like, you know, the volume level, it's louder than Hillary was last night. That's how loud it was.
Well, I've always had this
Do
theory.
you guys?
Wait a minute, John,
Yes.
how loud is it? You gotta wait for the setup.
It's so loud that Bernie Sanders said, could you keep it down? That's how loud it is. Did you guys did you watch the debate the other night? I mean, the two of them were shrieking at the top of their lungs. I've never, you know, I don't know how the modulation device on the sound panel could possibly maintain it.
Those two are so into each other.
Oh, yeah. It's like a remake of Cocoon.
It totally is. You know how this ends, right? I mean, I'm PG-13, not R, but PG-13. It's like, it's a rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, and they did, it's true, because they start out at the beginning of the debate, actually, at the beginning of the debate, they were like hating each other, right? She was like,
That's how every rom-com starts. I hate you. I hate your values. I hate your crook.
Artful smear. First time in the history of Bernie Sanders' life that anyone called anything that he did artful. Artful? It's like, you are not a progressive. This is so artful.
Yeah. Well,
What a
GrokTV.